Ready. Okay. Hello again. I'm Mark Kapner, that energy guy, and I am standing here in front of an electrical substation. And I'm going to talk a little bit today about the two different kinds of solar electric power systems. And the reason I'm in front of a substation is because these substations are where the high voltage grid, that is the transmission lines which carry energy throughout the state or throughout the country, where they connect to the local distribution systems, which are what we call the telephone poles carrying the wires, and those cylinders at the top, which are transformers. So what's going on here? Well, the substations, and there's 50 or some odd of these substations in the city of Austin. These substations step the voltage down from the high voltage of the transmission system to a lower voltage for the distribution system, which is the wires that are carried on the poles throughout the city. So these substations are essential to moving the energy from all the power plants in the state, including the solar power plants and the wind farms, moving that energy to your home. So it comes in, it's distributed throughout the state in a network of transmission lines which are high voltage. It comes to these substations, it gets stepped down to a lower voltage. It goes out along those distribution power lines, and then it gets stepped down again to the voltage that comes into your house, which is 220 volts. So let's go back to the substation. This is part of a grid. The grid interconnects all the power plants. They all work in sync. Solar power can be done in two ways. The first way is integrating the solar on your building with the utility service also serving your building. Those systems do not require any energy storage. They work fine. Just the solar. There is an electronic device which converts the direct current produced by the solar to alternating current and puts it into your building at exactly the right voltage. And your building will always have energy, whether the sun is out or not, because you're still connected to the grid. And the grid supplies exactly the amount of energy that you need to make up the difference between the solar that goes into the building and the building's requirement at every moment in time. So that's integrated with the grid. That's the first kind of solar. There's a second kind of solar, and that's for buildings that are far away from the closest connection to the grid. And we'll be talking more about this in the future, but those systems, there's no substation, there's no wires anywhere nearby, and the building needs electricity. Those kinds of solar power systems, they need a battery bank. They also generally have a small generator that's there for those occasions throughout the year, and there are very few occasions like this where you get a very long stretch of overcast weather. Because during that stretch of overcast weather, the solar isn't doing much at all, and so the batteries get discharged further and further every day. The generator is there so that you do not have to buy a tremendous bank of batteries to cover several days in a row of overcast weather. If you have more than 2 days in a row of overcast weather, the generator comes on and it recharges those batteries. So that generator is rarely used, but it's very, very important, because you want power all the time, even when you have a string of days that are overcast. So, just to repeat, two kinds of solar power. One, integrated with the grid. Two, off the grid with a bank of batteries and a generator. So I'm Mark Kapner, your energy guy. Be back to talk to you more later. Bye.